Let's talk about why we wanted to do this, right?
I broke up with a person that I was with on and off for is it almost 5-6 years before I met you. But this person totally disappeared on me for months. And I cried. And I was just thinking how dare he?
Let me ask this question. A woman would always say, I want a man that has a vision. I want a man that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
I want a man that does this, blah, blah, blah. They have a plan. When it comes to relationship, you settle for a man that doesn't have a plan. So a man that doesn't have a vision, that doesn't know where he's going in that relationship, and you'll stay there. Why?
Girls like bad boys.
What was the list?
You want me to share it with you?
By all means.
You know what's crazy, right? I don't mind actually bringing a bowl for you to wash your hands. I don't mind that. Out of love, not out of duty.
I always say to people that there are some things that have to fundamentally be aligned in order for you to even possibly match up, right? So one of them is usually faith. For the sake of moving on, what was your first impression of me when you first met me?
I thought you were cocky.
Wow. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode. And today is really a personal one. Today we're going to talk about myself, my wife, and our lived wisdom so far. So today I have with me a special guest. If I don't say this person is a special guest, I'm in trouble.
Definitely.
But I have with me a special guest. It's actually my wife. She is...
Hi guys. It's taking forever to introduce me.
Yeah, well, just let me do it. Right?
Okay.
We've known each other for actually 10 years, since 2016.
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years, 2016. And we've been married since 2018.
You couldn't help yourself? Had to just marry me?
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything. So let's go. Let's talk about why we wanted to do this, right? I think that our story is quite unique. I'm not saying it's the best one out there, but it's pretty unique in terms of our background and maybe the challenges that we had to overcome in order to have this relationship and build the family that we have. And also there are a lot of, we married quite young. So there's a lot of things to get from that. I know that people get married even younger, but like I said, our story is quite unique. Is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you're doing a good job, baby.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's talk about how we grew up, because our background is quite different, even though we have some similar heritage, I'd say. So I grew up in Nigeria. I was actually born in Lagos, but then we moved to Ogun State, Mowe to be precise, and in this place, from what I was told, it was kind of like a bush. So there wasn't I said bush, but it's like a forest where there weren't really people living there. There was maybe one or two people already. And then we were one of the earlier people staying there.
So if I call you a bushman, then I'll correct.
No, maybe bush boy.
Okay, bush boy.
But yeah, that's where I grew up. I grew up in a community where we had Muslims living opposite us. It was very different religion. Even though I was raised in a Christian household, I had two brothers and one sister. My oldest brother didn't really live with us, so he lived in camp, which is a neighboring Now city, and it was really me, my sister, and my brother. And me and my sister were like this, right? So we got in trouble together because my brother, he was younger and he was sort of pampered a little bit. But me and my sister, we got in trouble together. We'll go to school together. So I really grew up with her. And yeah, I think if I were to summarize my growing up, I wouldn't say it was in a lot of prosperity, although I never felt that it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? At the time, the food was there, the shelter was there. We felt pretty, middle class, well off.
So mommy and daddy did a good job, isn't
Yep, they did a great job
it?
because we didn't know that. Like even now, when they tell stories of the struggles, like I cannot resonate with that because I
Hmm.
didn't know that. So that was
Yeah.
things that those were things that they were going through that
Hmm.
they ensured that we were to some level shielded away from.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. So that's my upbringing. We went to church every single Sunday. There wasn't a Sunday that was missed because in my culture or in my household, you must go to church. It's not a negotiation or kind of anything like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's the same in my house as well. Growing up, no matter how sick you are, the Lord will heal you when you get to church. You must go to church.
yeah, it's like wait,
Honestly.
it's always when they say things like you are okay, you're sick and you're deciding not to go to the house of the Lord. Like how does that make sense? That is
Yeah,
when you
you
should go
should
to the
go.
house of the Lord because that is where you will get your healing and all that. So
Hmm.
yeah. So was this similar in terms of how you were raised?
Yeah, yeah. Growing up, so I grew up in New York City, just surrounded by different cultures and different people. When we had our firstborn, Isaiah, so I would call him Papa, and that's because I grew up with so many Hispanics around me. Like our our neighbors right next door to us, it was a semi-detached house. They were Hispanic, and every Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, they'll be playing their bachata music, and you hear
Mhm.
boom, boom, boom. The whole house would be shaking, and I look back and I laugh now. It's so funny because our parents didn't get along. So there was a boy that lived in their house that was really close with Josh. They were the same age, and both our parents didn't get along, but the boys got along so well. So it was just funny. It was just funny to think about that. But anyways, yeah, I grew up in a Christian home as well, where church was non-negotiable. Um, we used to wake up very early on Saturday mornings and pray together as a family.
Mhm.
And we prayed so long that me and my brothers, we started putting like pillows under our knees because the floor used to hurt our knees. And anytime my dad would hear somebody snoring, he would ask you to raise a song. Hey, and I will always raise Amazing Grace.
How sweet the sound. Yeah.
Exactly.
I guess our background is pretty similar in the sense that it was in a Christian household, and church wasn't negotiable.
Yeah.
Um,
So how about, since you were raised by Nigerian parents as well? Well, my mom is Caribbean anyways, but sometimes Nigerian parents have this mentality where you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Those were the only options. So
were,
was
were
was
those
that
were
was
those
that
were those the
that
options
was
that
the
you
only
had?
options, and I didn't meet any of them, but God knows I'm still here. Oh gosh.
I would say that those were probably the same expectations
Hmm.
growing up. I remember when I was in high school, well, not high school, in primary school, I was pretty good in terms of academics. And
Yeah.
then when I went into secondary school, I was playing a bit too much, so I wasn't paying
Yes, I've seen the report
too much.
cards.
I wasn't paying too much attention in terms of academics, so I wasn't doing too well. And I remember that I would bring the reports home, and it was kind of like the kind of words that they would use is very disappointing. So I never personally never felt the pressure to become a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. I never felt that pressure. I think maybe I was too young at the time before we moved to the United Kingdom. So I moved when I was 12, getting close to 13. So we hadn't had those talks at that time. We're just
Really? No,
no.
I feel like parents, by the time you're like five, they'll buy you kits. You say, yeah, you're going to be a doctor.
No,
Yep,
no,
good
no,
job.
no, not for us. I don't
Really?
think. Maybe my brothers and my older sister would say something different, but not
Mm.
for me. I think I was. I didn't feel that pressure at that time. I felt the pressure that you needed to excel in
Yeah.
your academics, but not a pressure to do a certain profession or to go through the line of a certain profession. When we came here, I think they they were more open minded in terms of what I could do. That's what I faced. I think they saw that there were more opportunities outside of those three, whereas in Nigeria back then it was really those three or nothing.
Hmm.
So they saw that. So I didn't really face any of that. But I guess you did, even though you grew up in the USA where there are
Yeah, there are
other
lots of
things.
opportunities, but people respect doctors so much, lawyers so much. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say engineers are on the same par as doctors and lawyers. I feel like they are quietly the same par. Like they make a lot of money, but they're like not as out there as you say as oh yeah, they're a doctor. You know what I mean?
So is it about the money or about the respect?
I think it's about both. It's about
The money
both.
commands respect. Yeah, to some level.
Yeah, money commands respect, but also your title commands respect as well.
So let's talk about where we were before we met each other, right?
I see a mischievous look on your face.
No.
Oh
Seriously,
god.
let's talk about that. And the reason why this is important is because quite a lot of young people are obviously going to have to navigate the same thing. You know, a lot of times we like to allow people to think that, oh, this was the one and only person for me. This is the person that I've loved from the ages of time or whatever. But people go through different processes before they eventually find the one, and sometimes people don't. So it really depends. But in terms of our story, at the time, I was in a relationship.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't asking you to affirm. I'm just telling you. Let me just tell a story. I was in a relationship, and in that particular relationship, I was in it with the because I've when people ask me, because we got married young, oh, did you ever think that you would get married at that age? I always tell people that I knew that I wanted to get married young since going into university. I think going into university for me, my mindset was I need to do well. I need to, be successful because I want to be able to take care of my family. That was my goal. That was my reason.
So that's not normal for a young guy. So why were you so like thinking about that? Like, oh, I want to be successful so I can have a family. Like, why was your mindset like that?
I think for me, it was what I saw in my home
Hmm.
and growing up. So I grew up in a culture where everything around you was about family. It's about family and community. It was the families that built the community. We used to play these games when I was like a kid, mommy and daddy, we called it. So one of us would act as daddy, usually me, and then somebody else would act as mommy, and then we would do the cooking, daddy would go to work and then come. So since I was a kid, that's what we saw, and those are the type of games and dramas that we were playing.
So you're saying
So
I should just cook. I don't go to work.
no, you're not. You're missing the point.
I'll get in there.
My point is that all I saw was families.
Yeah.
So when I went into university and all of that, my thinking wasn't what a typical young person would think. Oh, let's go and party, let's do all this. My thinking was I need to find something, be successful at it, so that I can take care of my family. So that's where that came from. So at that time, I was still in a relationship, and I had the intention of marrying this person, but I wasn't 100% sure. So it's still like discovery sort of phase. I had not officially introduced them to my parents because whoever I was going to introduce to my parents has to be the person, right? So I was very particular about that. So I was taking my time to understand this person, to see if we're compatible, if this is what wants for me, before we get to the point where I'm like, hey, dad and mom, here she is. So that was where I was at. I was still in a relationship at the time before I met you, although it was a bit rocky because of some things that happened. How about you?
So before I met you, I was in my singleness era and I was enjoying it so much. I was just about finishing up nursing school.
Hmm.
No, actually, I think was I? No, when I met you, I was still in nursing school, right? Yeah, I was still in nursing school, and I was going out with my girlfriends, and I broke up with a person that I was with on and off for like is it almost 5 6 years, before I met you, and this person I did my first bachelor's in New York, and I was currently in nursing school at the time in Florida, and I was thinking since we've been together for 5 to 6 years, like me living in Florida now won't change anything.
Hmm.
But this person totally disappeared on me for like months. I didn't even hear a word from him. And all of a sudden, one day he calls me out the blue and says, like, we can't be together. And I cried, I cried, I cried. Because this person, he actually met my family. And I was just thinking, like, how dare he? Like, I've never introduced any guy to my family before. And I was hurt. I was like down in the dumps for a good few months. I never thought like breaking up with someone can hurt that much, even after like they've hurt you, and you're not even married. So, but anyways, so after like 3 4 months of being very depressed, like I'll just start crying out of nowhere. Sometimes I'll be driving and crying. I was like, God, I'm just gonna focus on me and you. I was like, if I never get married, that's totally cool too. To be honest, before I met you, I never thought I was gonna get married. Like, I never, I meet a lot of guys. I never see any potential of going further. And so I was already, thinking, I'm gonna be sick, single for life, single with Jesus, and that was my song.
Mother Paul.
I was thinking about how I'm gonna keep myself busy. I'm gonna do my master's, do my PhD. I was already planning on traveling, doing all these kind of things,
Yeah.
and then I met you, and then things became difficult because I already had all these plans out in my head, how my life is going to go, and you came into my life, and I realized, wow, like, am I going to stay this particular path, do my master's, do my PhD, work as a critical care nurse, do all this kind of stuff? Or am I going to do something crazy, like move to the UK and not know how the rest of my life is going to look like, how the rest of my life is going to pan out to be?
I wanted to ask about this guy. Did you introduce him to your parents officially?
Yes, I did.
So your dad is Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom is Caribbean. So you're
Mm-hmm.
50% Nigerian.
Yeah.
What was the reaction like?
I think my dad was just trying to test him out and see, okay, like, can he provide for her? Is he a stable guy? What is his family like? They didn't really have much time. Um, when did he come around? I think he was just in vacation in Florida. He's met my younger brother a lot. They were cool. My older brother Stanley, he's cool with that. He's cool with everybody. But I don't think my parents had enough time to get to know him because things fell apart quickly after they met each other. So it actually, after my dad met him, like a few months later, he was like, this guy's not gonna marry you. And I was like,
Really?
yeah. He just sat me down. He was like, this guy's not gonna marry you.
Wait, but well, I wonder, what did he explain what he saw? Just to say that?
He was just like, how long have you known this guy? Like, what is he waiting for? He said, obviously, he doesn't value you. He doesn't cherish you. So he said, just mark my words now. He's not going to marry you.
But my question is, why do... Because there are a lot of women in such a relationship where you guys are together for so long and there is no plan in sight.
Yeah.
Because when we met, one of the first things that I think we established was that this is our destination. Like, I think in the first 2 3 months, we figured out what we wanted to do, what we wanted to do.
I think you already had the mindset that you wanted a family, and I had a mindset of, you're not going to waste my time. Like, I've already learned my lesson previously.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
But I'm asking about like, because it's not just you, for example, where you're in a long-term relationship, where you are thinking something different, and perhaps usually the guy is thinking something different. So my question is, like, why do you think women don't get it that usually, more often than none, when you're in a relationship for a long time and a guy doesn't you know what, let me ask this question, let me ask you this
I
way.
know what you're asking.
No, let me ask you this way, right? A woman would always say, I want a man that has a vision. I want a man that knows where they're going.
Yes.
I want a man that does this, blah, blah, blah. They have a plan. When it comes to relationship, you settle for a man that doesn't have a plan, a man that doesn't have a vision, that doesn't know where he's going in that relationship, and you all stay there. Why?
I think most times it's because you've already put so much effort into the relationship, and then you realize, oh, this is what or who the guy really is. And sometimes you just don't want to start over. Like, this person probably really knows you very well. If you're not, I would per se, like a Christian, they probably already know your family very well, and it's really hard. I've had friends, by the time they're partner or whatever gets so close to their parents, their siblings, it's even hard to break up with them because your parents love them so much. But then you realize, well, actually, this person is not actually a good fit for me. You know,
But I'm asking at the initial phase,
initial.
because before you tend to want to settle down with a man, you usually someone would usually ask the question, what are you looking for in a man? Now this is a man that you haven't met yet, but there's something you're looking for, and usually a woman would say, I am looking for a man that knows where he's going, a man with a vision, a man that is this, loving, all of that, right? Usually a man with a vision that has a plan.
You know
so
why?
why don't you ask that question at the beginning?
It's because the men that are sweet, the one that sweep you off your feet, are the ones that have no vision. That's all they do. They just be sucking into your ears like this. That's why women fall for them. Women fall for them because women want that attention. And sometimes it's the nerdy guys in school, in high school, in middle school that don't get the girls, but they're more stable people to marry later on in life.
So it's a phase.
It's a phase. Girls like bad boys. That's what girls like. They like them. They like them. Honestly, I swear, girls know what's bad for them, and they will still go there. They will still go.
So it's a phase. Basically, the older you become, the more you're understanding that you have to think critically about these kind of relationships. Whereas when you're younger, you're thinking more of how he says I'm beautiful.
Exactly.
He's gonna buy me things.
Do you think the nerdy ones know how to text? Hi, beautiful. No, they'd be like, so P square plus 2 equals.
Oh my, that is so stereotypical.
No, baby, it's true. There's guys with no game. I'm telling you,
so it's about game.
It's about game. I'm telling you, how you got me. You had game, baby. You had game.
It's a good combination. Brains and game.
Yeah, and to be honest, right? When the day I married you, one of my guy friends I knew for a long time, he was like, I didn't think he was your type. And, sometimes like you think in your head you have a type, right? But you realize actually what you need might not be what you think you want. Does that make sense?
You had a whole list.
I had a list, yes.
What?
No, but that was different. That was the list I told God. That's different.
Okay, so you told God this is the list of the man.
After I was in my singleness era, I said, God, if you decide to give me a husband, this is what I want.
What was the list?
You want me to share it with you?
By all means.
Baby. The last how many years of us being married, I haven't shared it with you.
Share the list if you remember. I know you said you don't remember all of it.
I don't remember all of it.
But share whatever you remember.
Baby, I don't think YouTube is ready. Oh gosh. Okay. I remember a few things. I don't want to just go off of whatever, but I do remember a few things. I remember I said, God, I want a man that loves you more than he loves me. I told God, I want a man that is driven, that works really, really hard, that will forever love his family. I told God, I want a man with a sex drive that's higher than mine so that I'm always satisfied.
Specific?
Oh gosh. What else?
So there was nothing on your list about it needs to be this tall, dark and handsome, it needs to be this and that.
No, it wasn't. I would say it wasn't really like physical qualities that I put on there. Those are the top 3 that I remember now. It was a long list, but I do remember after meeting you that the Holy Spirit just pricked me and said, he ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? And
did you not also have you don't want to marry a Nigerian, or that was just something else?
No, that was very true.
Was it on the list?
It was not on the list.
Not on the list.
That's why I always say God has a sense of humor because I never actually put that on the list, but I always told God, listen, I can never marry a Nigerian man. Like growing up, I seen Nigerian men, they would all sit down, they would never help their wives in the kitchen. Their wives would bring them bowl to wash their hand. Like, why can't you go to the sink to wash your hand? I'm probably they're all looking at me now thinking, look at this useless girl. But listen, like I was like, if I marry someone, like, what's crazy, right? I don't mind actually bringing a bowl for you to wash your hands. I don't mind that. Out of love, not out of duty. Like, oh, baby, please wash your hands before you eat. Like,
and then
no.
kneel down,
yeah, like, it's not about that.
No?
I don't mind bringing your food, but it's out of love. It's not out of like you owe this to me because I'm the man. That doesn't sit well with me.
But you love me and you still haven't done it.
You didn't ask, baby. You go to sink and wash your hands, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
I guess. And it also depends on the food you eat. Anyways.
Yeah. So, and I've just seen what I've seen anyways is not, I want to say it's a blanket statement for all Nigerian men, but they're not very romantic. Like what from what I've seen, like let's they don't do PDA or affection, and not to say that I'm all about PDA, but sometimes when I see you outside and I think you're cute, like when no one's looking, I'll grab your butt, babe, or something like that. And you look it like that, but you like it, like so
Those Tesco cameras, they must have seen things.
No, yeah, so I couldn't marry someone that I would do like be like, baby, we're outside. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't be with someone like that. So I just told myself that.
Well, how important do you think it is to create lists to God when you're looking for a partner, a spouse?
I would say it's so important because if you read the Old Testament, how God wanted the Israelites to build the temple, it was so specific, so specific. How He wanted them to make sacrifice was so specific. How they wanted Noah to build the ark was so specific.
Mm-hmm.
There
Even
was
the temple.
yes,
Yeah.
it built. So God answers your prayers. I believe God is a God of specificity, and He's been that God in my life for me. I would say God. I told God I don't want any C-section, and twice. One time I was even on the theater table, and I still delivered naturally.
Hmm.
Like God is a God of specificity. So if you want something according to His will for your life, He will do it for you.
At that time in your life, you had a list that okay, you were first in a mind frame of it's just God, me and Jesus forever. But if peradventure you ever want me to get married, Lord, this is what I want. At that same time, my frame of mind was okay. I've completed university. I've got a job that I wanted. Okay, I'm now trying to find somebody to settle down. I think I might have that one person. Something's happened where like she basically cheated on me, and then it created some rocky. I guess it became very
It's
rocky.
not fair. Oh.
Wait, what?
Baby, should we fight that?
This is not Sister Eileen. so, so that happened, and then the foundation was very rocky at that point in time, and I think
Wait, so you stayed after she cheated?
we were figuring things out.
I see.
So it wasn't a outright staying or outright going. So okay, what are we doing now? And I think that God is, like you said, God is funny because He allowed these things to happen just in time. Because honestly, if we had met when things were so good with this other person, I would not be thinking anything of you at that time, right? I would have just shut everything up. And it's so funny because what happened was so fresh. It was like literally within weeks,
Wow.
right? And the weird thing is that it is out of character for this person, like completely out of character. So it was just crazy that sometimes God will ruin a relationship so that he puts you with the person that you're ought to be
That's
with.
exactly what I thought about as well when me and this other person didn't work out. Because to be honest, right, like his relationship with God was not where it should have been. And to be honest, looking back now, I know that was not God's plan and purpose for my life. When I see the life that we have built together and the same passions and the same drive that we have, I didn't have that with him. And yes, it was, oh, lovey dovey. Oh, I really care about this guy. But your butterfly feeling is not enough to sustain a marriage long term.
Breach. For
It's not
sure.
enough.
For sure. So you need to get past that face of butterfly and ask yourself some deep,
Yeah.
meaningful questions. I always say to people that there are some things that have to fundamentally be aligned in order for you to even possibly match up,
Consider.
right? So one of them is usually faith. You have to have the same faith, the same belief to some level in the fundamentals. You have to have the same destination in terms of what do you think our finances should look like, what should it be. You should have the same goal where we want our families to be, even and then that can then transpire into more should I say,
More
secondary things like where are we going to live, all of these different things. But recently I had somebody who came to me said, "Oh, I want to buy rings. I want to go ring shopping for my girlfriend because I'm ready to marry the person." My first thought was, "Wow,
Mm-hmm.
congratulations." My second thought was, "Let me just test him and make sure that he is ready for this commitment because this is possibly
One of the biggest
the
decisions of
biggest
his life.
decision any man, any woman would make."
Mm-hmm.
So I asked them a question. I said, "Have you guys? Are you sure this is what you want to do?" And his response was, "I am 90% sure." I'm like, "No, you have to be 100% sure because a
Yeah.
lot of people tend to believe that love is about, um, oh, how I feel. Oh, I really feel this love for her."
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about that. Like you rightly said, the butterflies will go. It has to be a commitment. So if you're not 100% sure that you will be committed to this person and you will go the full distance with this person, it's not going to work out. You need to
Mm-hmm.
100% make a decision that I'm 100% going to. So when I asked him that question and he said 90%, I was like, well, then I started to ask, do you guys have the same belief in terms of faith? Do you guys have the same destination? How do you manage finances? And then you started to see the issues in those
Yeah.
questions. And I said, look, I would advise you to keep praying about it. And you guys have this conversation. Once you reach a consensus of what you want to do and a plan, then you can come back and say you want to do ring shopping. And that's what you
You
did.
know, I find that beautiful about guy friendships, that you guys can talk to each other and take each other's advice. But girls, like I have two instances in my life where I had friends that I would say they're really close friends to me. And this one of my friends asked for my advice and said, listen, like, I really want to take this relationship with my boyfriend further. Um, and and I just told her, listen, I don't know how to tell you, but I'm pretty sure he's cheating on you. And then
You said that to her.
yeah, I said that to her. And then she was like, it's just because you want him, blah 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 whatever. And then 2 years later, mind you, she texted me. She was like, yeah, he was cheating on me. We've broken up and blah 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 blah. But I'm like, our relationship has already passed and ship has sailed. You know what I mean? And like sometimes females think like what she said, like, oh, I want your man or I'm jealous, but I'm not jealous. Like, I'm actually working in your best interest. Like, I had another friend who, her parents are very strict and she was dating like a party guy. And I told her, listen, can you bring this guy home to your parents? You guys have been together for years now. Like, don't drag him on. Again, I was cut off. So honestly, I just find it so beautiful that guys have that kind of relationship. And yeah, it's
Yeah, I
nice.
mean, I can affirm that,
Mm-hmm.
and I have stories for that. But
Mm-hmm.
in the sake of moving on,
Yep.
what was your first impression of me when you first met me?
I thought you were cocky.
Wow,
Like, like I even tell you now, baby, you strut like a peacock. Like you just
what?
like, like
What did you?
no, because the first time I met you, I was dancing in at my auntie's wedding, and you were the DJ, and I locked eyes with you, and you didn't look away. Normal people look away, babe, when they
Look,
lock eyes awkwardly
when
with
you
someone they
find
don't know.
the one, you have that inbuilt confidence to keep looking.
So I said, look at this guy. I said,
Wait,
look at you
is
again.
that why he's cocky? But I like him anyways. Like what?
No, I didn't say I like you yet. That took
Okay,
time.
so that developed.
I was interested in who is this guy that has the
Oh,
guts.
so that locking of eye interested
Like,
you.
no, I was interested in the ego that you had. I said, what is this that
So it
this
piqued your interest. You say no, and then you say the same thing that I say. So you're interested in no, just the ego. No, but okay. So your first impression is that I was cocky. Okay, is that it?
baby, you were cocky because like I don't that was really my first impression.
Not like he's handsome.
You were dressed very nice.
Wow, anything to
No,
say?
to be honest, I was in my mindset at that time. I was not into Nigerian guys. I was still in my singleness era.
How
Like
did
I
you know I was
wasn't
Nigerian?
the whole wedding of people with Nigerian now.
Ah, so you generalized.
I generalized, yes, I
Okay.
did. To be honest, I didn't know who your parents were at the time. I didn't know that those were your parents, even though like I met them and knew of them. I didn't know they were your parents and stuff.
I have to be my own man.
Yeah, else I would have known you were Nigerian. But I met lots of Nigerian guys that weekend. I said, nope, this is why I'm not marrying a Nigerian guy.
Well,
But
yeah.
what was your question again? I
What was
forgot.
your impression, first impression
Oh
of
yeah,
us?
yeah. To be honest, I thought you were smooth. You were very smooth. I said, look at this guy. Like you were actually so smooth. And the way you approached
Continue.
me,
Hmm.
like you can set up a school for game, to be honest. Maybe your game has gone now because
Game.
you're married. But
Wow. Game for Christians.
yeah, it's game for Christians, yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, I would say that my first impression of you was, um, I thought you were very elegant, and the way you carried yourself
Oh,
was quite
thank you.
poised. That I think that's the first thing that I remember. I still remember what you were wearing. You were wearing this green yellowish dress, almost like a kaftan, but it
Yeah, it had
wasn't.
different
They had
colors.
different colors, but I could remember the blue and yellow, and then you had, I think, either the blue sort of high heeled, very high heeled. She must have been
Very
seven
high.
inches, eight
Yeah.
inches shoe, and then you did your hair back, and I always say that there's something about women that do their hair back. It just speaks a lot of confidence and
Okay.
poise. So that's what I saw, and then the way you were walking, you knew what, you owned the room basically, and you knew who you were, and I think I took notice of that.
I have a good mama. She always used to tell me, baby, make sure you sit up straight, you cross your legs, chest out, but not too much.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to my
Shout
mama.
out to mom. So American. Yeah. So that was my first impression of you, and I think it was a 2-day wedding. So that was on a
Yeah.
Friday, and then on a Saturday was when I was then in suits and with my guys, and you were one of the bridesmaids. And I remember telling my guys, okay, look, I'm gonna go talk to her, and yeah, that's when I
Wait,
walked over to
so
talk to you.
did you go home thinking about me that night after the traditional wedding? Or you just
Yeah.
thought, really?
Yes. No. So yes, of course.
Wow, you
Like,
never told me this before.
so no. So after that Friday night,
Yeah.
because it was done at a hall, and then they had to tidy up. We had to tidy up. So some of us stayed back to tidy up and everything. And I remember because my sister was also one of the bridesmaids,
Yeah.
so she was with you, and I used that excuse. I must have like walked past you guys like a billion times and walked to her just so that I can see you more.
To be honest, I
and,
didn't notice.
And so I was doing a lot of that, and
Uh.
and yeah, I was just trying to get close to.
I'll never forget that your sister thought I was like 16 or something because I just looked really young. And then when she found out my real age, I think she asked my auntie, well, how old is she? And she told Sister Abby, and she came to me. She was like, are you dating anyone? I was like, no. She was like, this is the age where you're supposed to be dating someone so that in a few years' time you can get married. I just
Little
said,
did she know
okay.
that her younger brother was looking like this.
I remember I told her once a few years ago, she said, if I don't, I wouldn't have said anything. I said, wow.
What did she mean? She would have said it. That means she must be trouble. You must be trouble.
Baby, I'm an angel.
Of course. But yeah, that was, I think, my first impression of you. And then I remember that I walked up to you on that Saturday, and then that's when we started talking.
What did we
From
even
then.
talk about? I don't remember.
I remember I made the corniest joke, and I centered my conversation around the fact that your dad was a lieutenant in the police force. And
So you tried to find something about me that
yeah,
you
I had to learn about who you were and what your family was like, so that I can use that to spark up a conversation. So when we came together, and then I was talking about, I
see,
remember,
guys,
I
listen,
remember
wait. Effort. Some guys just text you WYD.
what you're doing.
Should I respond?
So yeah, I mean, so that I learned about that, and then I remember one of the cornerstone of our conversation, or to break the ice, was, how does it feel like being the daughter of your lieutenant? Like, do you have to be careful around the house?
I think I remember this
You remember that conversation? Do you have to be careful? Have you ever been caught before? And did your dad bail you out? And then we had a whole conversation about that. So that was my go-to for you, conversation to spark up something, and then talk about something that that basically makes you talk. So I wasn't trying to talk about myself. I was trying to talk about you and find out more about you. And then I think I remember getting to the point where I was asking you, okay, when are you going? And can I? Because you're only there for like 3 days.
No, literally 2.5 days, and I was out because I
Wow.
had an exam. I was rushing back for an exam.
Yeah. And then we got exchange numbers.
Exchange numbers, or I had my number stolen. Which one do you want to say?
Exchange numbers. We'll stick with that. Exchange numbers, and yeah, we started talking on the phone.
Wait. He's trying to smooth over how smooth he was. So after we finished talking, well, we didn't really finish talking. He kind of sparked up a conversation, but then left me hanging as if I want more. And then
Tactic.
And then so Snapchat just became a thing. Guys, I'm not old, but at that time Snapchat just became a thing. Was it 9 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2016.
And I was like, listen, I gave out my number a lot this weekend.
I mean, I'll be asking why. That's my first question. Why did you do that? But let's keep going.
No, it's because guys don't leave you alone until you give them your number.
Give them a fake number.
True. But anyways, so I was like, listen, I'll add you on Snapchat. So I gave him my number to add himself on Snapchat so he can like scan my QR code, right? And instead,
you gave me your number. You gave me your phone.
No, I gave you my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, you said
yeah.
number.
Sorry, I gave you my number to I mean, I said my number again. I gave you my phone to add me on Snapchat, and instead of scanning the QR code and adding yourself on Snapchat, you called my number. Well, you called yourself with my phone. Yeah. So you had my number, and I was just thinking, oh God, another guy's gonna call me in the morning and ask me to go to breakfast, and I was like, ah.
But did I do that?
No. You didn't. No.
No, I didn't call in the morning to ask for breakfast.
And that's what piqued my interest. Like, oh, this guy. So he's like here and he's not here. He's here and he's not here.
But I did. So one thing is, thinking back now, I'm like, oh, actually, maybe I did do well. So yes, I did mean to leave the conversation midway so that you would want more. Because a lot of times guys tend to end the conversation and it's like, okay, so what is left? What do you continue with? So I tend to leave it halfway where you're like, oh, excuse me, I just have to quickly go. Well, I'll message you later, okay? And I'll go so that we can continue the conversation.
Guys, be taking notes.
Anyways, so when I remember sending you a message that night. What I wanted to do was we need to this is actually crazy. It was a whole strategy. I needed to create something between me and you that we can talk about the day after. So to do that, I set an expectation between the both of us. So I sent you a message, or before I left you, actually, I left you with something like, okay, well, you should have a good dream tonight and let me know what it is about in the morning. So that was the expectation. Now there's something for us to talk about in the morning. And then I sent you a message after I got your number that night, and I said, have a good sleep.
This, yeah.
And looking forward to hearing about what you dream about in the morning. And then I was,
to be honest, I thought it was a bit corny, but
it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
In the morning, then I think you responded that night saying thank you. And in the morning,
listen, girls, if he's not intentional about you like this, if he's not intentional, I'll leave it there.
Anyways, we started talking, and then what? You had to leave. Was it Sunday or Monday? I think it was Monday.
I think very early Monday morning I was leaving.
Yeah. So very early Monday morning you were leaving, which meant I got your number on Saturday. I really only had Sunday to do anything. Now, let me be honest. On that Saturday night, I spent that Saturday night at a friend's house. And a few of the guys were there in my cohort, and we're just there, because we all went to the wedding, and then we're just there just talking and everything. And obviously I brought you up, and then we talked a little bit about that, and we kind of just forgot it because we thought probably never see her again, blah blah blah. And little did I know, and then saw my phone go ta 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 ta. And I checked my phone, and somebody has been liking all of my pictures on Facebook.
Only the ones that I like.
All of I said somebody, how do you know what you I said somebody's been liking all my pictures, and I got excited. I was like, yo, bro, look at this. She's liking my pictures. She must think I'm good looking at least. I looked through the notification and I saw that it was you. You were liking all of my pictures, and I was like, okay.
You keep saying all.
This is okay, at least the first 6. broken down my profile picture. And then I said, this is a sign. Because before then, I didn't really know if you were interested or not. Let's be honest.
So liking a Facebook picture, it says I'm interested.
It showed that at least you liked what you saw.
Okay.
Right? So that was the first sign of a thumbs up that I got
It
from
was the
you.
camera angles. They were very nice. Like you just...
Calm down. We are here now. Right? So so that I remember seeing those notifications and then saying to my friends that I think she might like me at least a little bit. So okay, let me take this further. And then I was like, okay, how long do I have? It was Saturday night. I'm like, okay, maybe I can ask her if we can go somewhere on Sunday. And then I messaged you, and then I think that's when you said, okay. You left a very short message saying, okay. And I fist bumped the air, said to my guys, all right, what can we do? Let's plan something. So we all literally planned a date. We all sat there planning
My guys,
date.
I'm marking all of you. I know your names.
So we all basically planned the date. It was like, okay, we're going to do this and then take her to this and then that. And then, yeah, the rest is history. And then Sunday came.
Sunday came. And to be honest, I feel like God orchestrated everything because it's just so funny how things fell into place. I remember coming to church late. Very late. With our team.
As you continue to do. I'm sorry, continue.
So the usher at the time, Mommy Completo, she put me right in front of the drums, and I was just thinking, oh my God, because you were drumming like this. It was Thanksgiving, you were sweating, you were just looking at me like,
first of all, it's the other way around.
This guy, I'm not the drummer now, this family. I was like, this guy, like the eye contact is too much.
So I was still giving you that eye contact.
You were giving me eye contact while you were drumming, like intense, like, oh Lord.
Okay.
I said, wow. And at this time, to be honest, I still didn't know who you were. And after church, when you took me to the piano and was like talking with me, I started getting like these eyes from the ladies in the church. Eyes from the youngest lady to the oldest lady. Like, who is this female with Brian? Like, eyes, baby.
They were concerned for my safety. Anyways, so I took it to the keyboard.
You took me to the keyboard.
And I played one thing, the only thing I know how to play on the keyboard. What was that song again?
Is it?
Isn't that song? God, you're blown away.
I was not blown away. My older brother's a keyboardist. I was not blown away. I was just the keys guy. I was even trying to run away because all the eyes we were collecting was just too much.
Right. Okay.
But you did pique my interest though. I'd say I was
at that point
interested. Yeah. I love the way you drummed. So, this drummer is something.
Even though the society will tell you that the church drummers are the worst.
Exactly. That's another reason why I had my bar up. You're Nigerian. I didn't know you were a pastor's kid at this point, but you're a pastor's son and you're a drummer. Hey!
Bad combination.
It's a triple threat. Ha!
Yeah, well. Some of us are good.
Yeah, so we thank God.
Okay, so we started talking, and then there was a lot of we would speak for 2 hours on the phone, and was it harder on me or harder on you because of the time difference? Because now you were back in the US.
No, it's harder on you.
And I think I was awake till like 3-4 a.m. a lot of times, and still have work that I need to get up for at 6:30, and would have this conversation. What made you think it's worth this relationship that is long distance? Because that's what we did.
I really don't know, to be honest. I feel like at first I was just seeing where this was going. I knew that I liked you, but I also still had my guard up. But you sacrificed so much to talk to me, like you'd stay up for hours very late. You're very intentional about getting to know me, and you bring up these games like, okay, we'll ask each other 50 questions and we'll go through the whole set of 50
those
questions.
Days.
And sometimes you'll just fall asleep talking to me and I realize he must be so tired. So I can see like the effort. It was very hard. I know on your side it's hard as well. Like people probably telling you, how do you know she's not cheating on you? How do you know she's faithful? And the same on my side. Like, and I had doubts in my own head as well because the previous relationship, I've known this person for how many years and they couldn't even manage me moving from New York to Florida. So why would someone who's 5 hours ahead,
thousands of miles away,
they could be doing anything when I'm not around? So it was difficult.
But I think what really helped us, because a lot of people ask me that, how did you manage a long distance? Because they couldn't do it. And I would say that what really helped us was we had set up some structures in place. We had some structures in place for our relationship. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say one of them was we had agreed that we would see each other twice a year,
Yeah.
right? So
Like
one of
every
them,
six
you would
months.
travel every 6 months. You would travel, and then the
Mm.
other one I would travel, sort of thing. So that was one thing that we agreed upon, and I think we quickly agreed on. I think from the onset we knew that we were doing this for marriage sake, and then we agreed on a time frame for that to some level. I think, right? But at least even if we didn't agree on a time frame, we
Yeah, I
we
mean,
had the objective in
yeah,
mind that this is our
exactly.
end goal.
Mm-hmm. I knew we both knew it would be definitely after I finished school if we ever thought about getting married. It's
Mm,
just, it got quite real really fast.
mm,
Not in a bad way, but it's just like, oh, like, is this actually happening? Because in my head, I never thought I'll find someone I'd want to marry.
mm.
So, because you men are just, it's just difficult.
Was it important to
Mm-hmm.
have a in the person that you're looking to marry to know about their family and what their family is like? Is that important?
It's important to me, yes. But I also knew that my aunties were very close with your family, so that if your family was not a good family, they would not. They would have already cut it off. So I had that assurance there. Like my dad always used to come to the UK. He knew your parents and stuff. And again, if he didn't think your family was respectable, he wouldn't allow me to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that case I kind of relied more on my family. To be honest, I was kind of like, let's say, blinded by love after a while. Once I really found that I liked you,
Mm-hmm.
I was blinded.
What were you blinded to? Because when you say you're blinded by love, that means that there was been
That
something.
that I think it gets to a point where even if I saw red flags, I wouldn't. Somebody else would have to show me red flags. Do you know what I mean?
Really, it got to that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but why? Like for a man, it's completely different. Like if I saw red flags, I would know it's red flags immediately, and then I have the decision to make. Either I want to continue with this red flag, is it manageable, or is it red flag where I'm like, you cannot continue. I would know that immediately.
Mm. I don't know. Maybe women just think differently. I think after a while, once a woman becomes invested in something and
Mm,
wanting to watch it nurture and grow, God has given us this nurturing. What's the word?
ability, maybe.
It's not the word I'm looking for, but like it's in us to nurture something, to watch
Hmm.
it grow. And after, once you've started to put a lot of effort into it, you do everything to make sure that that
Mm.
thing grows and it grows beautifully. You know. Um,
But not a lot of people share that thought. In the sense that in today's age and like women are wanting to think more like men when
mhm.
it comes to relationships. And I still believe that the initial stages is when you need to figure out what are you doing. I think in answer to the questions I asked you from my perspective, I would say that family is super important. In my opinion, that I needed to know that the family that you come from are responsible, or they have similar faith, similar belief,
Yeah. I
because
sorry, go ahead.
because if your family did not believe in once you're married forever,
That's what I was going to say.
if they don't have that mentality,
Yeah.
if anything were to happen between me and you, they're not going to be telling you to stay,
Mhm.
right? They're not going to be telling you to work it out. Whereas I know that the family that I come from believe that once you're married for good. So you better make a great decision at the start. Because I know that if anything were to happen, my family would tell me that you got to work it
Go
out.
and meet your wife.
You go and work it out because that's what you signed up for, basically.
Mhm.
Obviously, except if it comes to the point where there's a real physical abuse, where it comes to life threatening, then
Yeah.
safety has to come first. But in that regard, family is extremely important to me.
Mhm.
The family that you came from.
So how did you scope out my family?
One, I already had a really good relationship with your aunties.
Hmm.
So that was great. I
So they were the
think
bridge factor here.
I would say so.
Mm.
And I know that my our parents have met before.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has met your dad, and there wasn't really anything bad to really say from what they saw. So yeah, and again, it's not like we saw each other and we said, "Yep, we're getting married now." No, I visited the USA, met the family. So I met your brothers. I met your cousins. I saw what they were like Josh, for example, as young as he is. He got married young as well. So he also, and when you hear him talk, um, he also had that perspective of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents had been together throughout all of this for years. They're still together. That's an evidence, to me. I met your brother Stanley as well. The way he carries himself, his family, he's a family guy. So I've met that side of your family, and I'm like, okay, this is good evidence that this woman is responsible.
So you were looking for beauty. You were looking for a responsible woman.
No, the beauty drew me in. Let's be honest, right? The beauty drew me in at first, but it's not just about the beauty at that point, right? After that, okay, great, I'm in. Now, what do I need to look for in order to then say that, okay, this is the one for me? That's what I was now scoping for. There are many beautiful women in this world. Let's be honest, right? There are many people that are good looking in this world. Let's be honest. So it's not just the surface level of that, because if it is, then you're gonna get it wrong. That's my thought. All right, so that is how that's how we met. That's how we took our relationship. However, our relationship did not continue so smoothly like that. So I think because of time, I'm gonna cut this short here.
Okay.
And then we will continue maybe another time. Because we got to a point where we practically broke up and said we're not doing this anymore. And there was a big reason why that was the case. And it's one of those pillars that I mentioned earlier. There was something that we didn't thrash out, and we were still in the middle of thrashing out, and that thing basically broke us at the time. So yeah, in the next episode we will talk about that, and then talk about just be raw and honest.
Are you ready?
I'm
Because
ready
I'm
to
ready.
be raw and honest, and talk about growing. I also wanted to talk about when I first told my mom that I wanted to propose, and her reaction and all of that. I want to talk about that, and I remember the conversation that I had with your dad about this is my intention. Talk about that. Yeah, there's still so much to talk about, and raising our 2 kids.
Yeah, I just pray that this blesses someone out there that is going through that phase, young person trying to say if is this person God's will for my life, that us talking gives you some sort of direction. And always, always, always pray God's will for your life, because there are people you can marry. Let's say I married a missionary. Maybe being a missionary wasn't God's will for my life, but I married one. And so, I can be doing that with all my heart, but that's not where I'll thrive. And I just think one thing that's so beautiful about us is that you have such a passion for the youth ministry, and I do as well. And it's electric. Like, we work, babe, and we're just so good together. We thank God for that.
Thank God for that. Well, thank you everyone for watching. She basically gave the conclusion to this video. That's usually what happens, is the wife takeover. Until next time. Should we do this? Peace.